Spitting Image is being sued by Paddington Bear because they parodied Paddington Bear on the show. Now, for the Yanks that don't know, Spitting Image was. When was Spitting Image around? Spitting Image was around in like the 80s and the 90s. Like, I can remember Spitting Image as like a child, and it's where they make like. Remember those artists that draw caricatures of people? They basically take those caricatures and turn them into puppets of like politicians and famous people, and they parody them and they make fun of them, and it's like a sketch comedy show, right? It's a thing that the show has always done. It's a parody of things, right? But Spitting Image recently has come back. It has made a comeback. They've relaunched the show, and it's became kind of popular. They're safe edgy. Now, they're safe edgy. They only joke about the things that it's okay to joke about. Mostly the Tories, because you can joke about the Tories all you want, but they're going in on Keir a good bit now as well. However, they also parodied Paddington Bear. And basically, the company that owns Paddington Bear is now suing them, even though it's a clear parody. It's a parody, and they're now suing it, but suing Spitting Image. But anyway, Al Murray and Matt Ford said action over portrayal as foul-mouthed drug addict is a uh, they portrayed Paddington as a foul-mouthed drug addict. That's great. As an attack on freedom of expression. Al Murray. Al Murray, comedian that I actually have a great amount of respect for. But Al Murray is a genuinely very intelligent, and very, very funny comedian. I thoroughly enjoy Al Murray. And you're right, it is an attack on freedom of expression. What was it you said about me again when I got arrested for Nazi Pug? Sucks, doesn't it? A decision to sue the makers of Spit and Image over a depiction of Paddington Bear as a foul-mouthed drug addict is an attack on comedy and freedom of expression, the comedians behind the reinvention have said. It in fact is. It's a parody. It's clearly a parody. It's a parody. Calm down. We don't have a... what's the law it's called in America again? Fair use. We don't really have a fair use law over here. I know that over in America you've got the Fair Use Act, but over here I think it's something else. I can't remember. Don't quote me on it. Studio Canal, the production company that made the recent Paddington movies, is taking legal action against the team behind Spitting Image over the character's reimagining as the co-host of a satirical podcast, The Rest is Bullshit. In a new YouTube video responding to the lawsuit, however, a dishevelled Paddington is again seen snorting cocaine and using Studio Canal's legal letter as toilet paper. The video calls on viewers to remember to like and subscribe before Paddington gets cancelled. That was the best way to deal with that. That was it. Well done. Well done. All right. That's good. That is good. The online show featuring Paddington's makeover is produced by Avalon, the makers of Spitting Image, the satirical TV puppet show that angered numerous politicians when it ran throughout the 1980s. I want to be parodied on Spitting Image. I think that would be good. The problem is, during the height of Nazi Pug, I probably had a bit of a chance. I'll need to start running in elections again. I need to get into Spitting Image. I'll voice my own character. Whatever you write, whatever horrendous stuff you write, I'll voice my own character. I will. The latest programme, a poke at the successful stable of podcasts produced by Gary Lineker's company Goalhanger, runs on YouTube and features Paddington and Prince Harry as hosts. The two comedians who created the show, Al Murray and Matt Ford, said that they were amazed when the High Court lawsuit reached them. We're baffled by that, to be honest, Murray said in a Radio Times interview alongside Ford. If we were going to expect anything, it would be a hard stare from Paddington. There obviously has been a drift towards people who want to shut other people's jokes up, and it's weird. It seems like an attack on comedy, really. You're absolutely right, Al, but where were these opinions when you were asked about me? That's the thing is, the problem is first they came for the truly offensive comedians. And I did not speak up. Like, basically, yeah. See, when all the other offensive stuff gets removed, then what happens is the barrier for what's considered offensive gets lowered. And then, oh, wow, this is considered extremely offensive now. So let's get rid of all of this. And then it's the next stuff. And then it's the next stuff. And then the next stuff. And it keeps going and going until you tell a chicken cross the road joke and you get thrown in fucking prison because somebody get offended, probably a vegan. Right? That's the problem. Basically, resist any control of comedy, no matter what it is, right? I realise that my jokes are not to everyone's tastes, right? But you need to block it every single time the government tries to get its foot in, right? Art should have rules. Art's great when it has rules, said the retard. But anyway, Ford said it was part of a wider pressure on freedom of expression, pointing to the recent suspension of US comedian Jimmy Kimmel after he criticised the Trump administration's response to the killing of the right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. It's terrifying that pressure can come from all sorts of different places, Ford said. I think the risk that these kinds of authoritarian instincts exist on the left and right. He's trying to it's like both sides, like, yeah, okay. I'm not denying there's a little bit of authoritarianism on the right, but right now it's the left, man, massively, overwhelmingly. See when the right wing control all of the universities and the majority of media, and they curtail everybody in those things to say only the approved things that they're allowed to say, then you can talk to me. Most right-wing media outlets are like, oh no, we didn't mean that. Like, they're mostly like panicking, whereas left-wing outlets are just posting whatever the fuck they want and completely getting away with it. Right? Like, it's different. Like, it basically is not the same. I'm not saying there aren't authoritarians on both sides, but one side is doing most of the authoritarianisming, right? If you know what I mean. People need to be careful about thinking, well, I never liked Jimmy Kimmel anyway, so I'm fine with it. Because eventually they will get around to you and they will shut you up. How true, Al Murray? That is very true. You're completely right. Like saying that you don't like me. And like, holy shit. I don't even need to say anything now. Comedy is an easy target because people don't like being laughed at, but it's not comedy that they have an issue with, it's the freedom of speech. The High Court complaint against the depiction of Paddington cites copyright and design rights concerns. Studio Canal declined to comment. Now, in case of this, it's a parody. Parody should be completely protected by freedom of speech. It's clearly a joke, right? But one of the arguments that you have to make is a market replacement. Paddington Bear is marketed towards children. Now, do you consider the Paddington Bear appearance on a single episode of the show where he looks like he get put through the washing machine with a jar of nails, right, and he's snorting cocaine and he's foul-mouthed, do you believe that they're attempting to be a market replacement for the original Paddington? Basically, do you think children are going to tune in? Do you think they're going to buy teddies of that little munted up fucker on the show instead of the actual Paddington Bear? No, it's parody and protected freedom of speech, right? However, I do also have to point out the little bit of hubris from Al Murray. Right, now again, Al Murray is a comedian. I love Al Murray as a comedian. Genuinely hilarious, and he's really fucking smart. Have you ever seen him talking about name a country in the world and I'll explain how we beat them at war? He has taken people, and this is random, there's no plans. People are just shouting random stuff at him, and he knows every single war, every conflict, the dates, everything. It's that scene, just go and watch it right now. It's actually one of the most impressive and intelligent pieces of comedy I've ever seen. I'm being serious. Al Murray is one of my favourite comedians. He is incredible. However, yeah, you're right, Al. Eventually, people are going to come for your comedy. So you have to protect offensive comedy all over the place. No matter what it is, it has to be protected. And I do think you've learned a little bit of a lesson here.